I've told you before that I think that prophets have, whether they're ancient prophets or modern day prophets, always come from the arts community because super creative people touch the unbroken web, which is the source of all creativity. And I know that's a very brief explanation, but I wanted to say that as a baby boomer, a first generation baby boomer born in 1946, I have been exposed to modern day prophets, especially in the 60s, which was the birth of the counterculture movement. Actually, that was the 50s, but the point is that we have had some tremendous prophets in my lifetime. Of course, I think the most important prophet was Bob Dylan. His song, The Times They Are Changing, is an absolute prophecy of the world to come. And it was written in the 60s by Dylan. And a lot of his music, early music especially, is highly prophetic for all of us. But there were other, lesser prophets, if you will, in my lifetime. And one of them, one that I admire greatly, is Donovan. That's evident in some of the videos that I posted long ago on my YouTube channel. Including I had the great opportunity to meet him and to host him at a party, where we smoked marijuana together and just had a great time. So, but I still always have felt and looked to him as being a prophet of my early days. And one song in particular, this is an obscure song of Donovan's, but it's highly prophetic and it speaks especially to me. So I want to share a little bit of that with you before I talk about what it means. In this song, a man is having a conversation with a grain of sand that he has picked up from the shore on the beach, or the beach on the shore. And so he he asks the pebble, "How many years have you been here?" That's a fair question. But the pebble of sand says back, "From where I'm lying here in your hand, you to me are but a passing breeze." You know, and that is very true to the earth. We are just passing through. We are just passing breezes to the bigger world. And then he goes on to say, and this is just amazing to me, happiness runs in a circular motion. Thought is but a little boat upon the sea. Everybody is a part of everything anyway. So you can have everything if you let yourself be. And that letting yourself be has been highly, highly problematic for me in my life as a victim of child sex abuse. All I wanted to do after that was to hide. I mean, and there was this internal struggle because I wanted to be loved and appreciated by people from without, but the overwhelming sense of myself being a piece of crap overrode everything that was on the surface. And so I lived an internal life, one of self-hatred. And if you don't think that can screw up a person's thinking, you're just not really been close to it. So, and this manifested itself in my life in many ways. I was so afraid of rejection or abandonment. In either of those cases, I felt so alone. And that's what abandonment is all about. Because if you are abandoned and all alone, then you are claiming to be unique in the world. And that's just a bunch of crap. There is nobody unique, truly. Uh, and if you study the word unique, there's only one definition. You stand alone. And being alone is not a very healthy place to be. So rather than face the possibility of rejection or abandonment, I would reject myself first. That way I could deal with anything that came along with the there are certainly times in everybody's life when we feel rejected or abandoned. But when you take that to the nth degree, it becomes, just a mess of your life. Between the fifth and sixth grades, uh, I I took this little book and I drew portraits of all of the presidents. Now, I was using, an encyclopedia picture, but still, this was all freehand. And I got to tell you, this book was really, really well done. It was good. And I was what, 10 years old, 9 years old. I made what I felt was a mistake in taking that booklet to sixth grade on the first day of school. And so I showed it to my homeroom teacher, hopefully she would like me after that. And she was so overwhelmed that she took it to the arts teacher, the principal, and showed it to others. And suddenly, this light was shined upon me so brightly that it scared the living daylights out of me because it didn't match my internal beliefs about myself. So the result was I never did it again. I rejected certain aspects of art that were available within me because I couldn't handle that shining bright light I felt I didn't deserve. And so, I still could draw, the cartoon characters from Peanuts, and I used that to help myself in high school. But still, my grandmother was a great painter, and I could paint landscapes because she taught me how. And I was really, really good as an artist. But I rejected all of that rather than face that conflict internally. My nickname in high school was Mouse. And I think it was because I have such huge friggin' ears. Look at this thing. I mean, that's an enormous ear. Uh, but I really embraced that nickname because it fit me so perfectly. I could, mice hide during the daylight and come out at night, into the darkness, and they live in a world of darkness. And so that was me. It was self-assigned, but that was me. That was the way I felt about myself. So the person I presented wasn't real. It was me hiding. I could not let myself be. And, that plagued me all of my life. And, many of the stories that I tell you on this channel are a direct result of that. So, now I'm 77 years old, and I can, I have, through recovery and lots of other self-examination, I've come to the place where I accept me. I accept that I am a smart person. For crying out loud, I've been measured in the 99th percentile of all people. And even though somebody told me that, I didn't believe it. So the things coming at me from the outside, that I was smart, that I was creative, I rejected because I didn't want and couldn't handle the exposure that that would bring. Uh, so I rejected my own mind, despite any accolades from without. I can't tell you the number of times that people have told me that I'm a smart guy. I can't tell you the number of times that people have told me about my creativity. And yet, I just didn't believe it. So now, at the age of 77, I have finally come to the place where I have learned to love my own mind. And you may think that's weird, but it's not. I think we all should be thankful and grateful for the vessels that we live in as we transit life under the sun. And so I have come to accept that I am a smart guy, that I am super creative, highly sensitive, and I'm okay with all of that. But I wasn't for most of my life. And if I can pass that message along to you, because maybe you feel the way that I used to feel, let me tell you, start examining, deconstructing your own life, and you will figure out who is the real you and how you can let yourself be. Of course, I end all of these the same way because, and maybe that's a reflection of how I feel internally about myself, but I could always be wrong because I'm just a commentary.